Back to Ottawa now, and the fallout over a tense moment in the House of Commons yesterday. NDP Leader Jagmeet Singh was kicked out after calling a Bloc Québécois MP racist for refusing to pass unanimous consent on a motion recognizing systemic racism in the RCMP. Let's play that moment.
It's true. I called him a racist. And I believe that's so. I would ask the member from Burnaby South to apologize with respect to what he just said. I will not. The honourable member, I think what we've seen here today is unacceptable. You asked the member to apologize. He must do so. He cannot refuse to apologize because what he did is absolutely unacceptable and unparliamentarian.
Jagmeet Singh joins me now. Good morning. So you've had a day or so, not even. Any regrets this morning, Mr. Singh?
Well, I regret that we're living in a time that people are demanding changes, fundamental changes to policing, that so many people have been killed by the RCMP or have been the subject of violent police brutality. And we've got a federal Liberal government unwilling to act. We have a Trump administration that has acted quicker than Prime Minister Trudeau to do something about this. And we put forward an opportunity yesterday, and the House could not pass a simple motion to acknowledge systemic racism and to put forward some real clear steps to do something about it.
I want to play for everyone a very emotional moment when you spoke with reporters after the incident. Let's play that and we'll come back to you.
It was this brazen act of one MP to not just say no, but to say no loudly and to kind of gesture like this is almost like this is meaningless. And in that gesture, I saw exactly what has happened for so long. People see racism as not a big deal. See systemic racism and the killing of Indigenous people as not a big deal. See Black people being the subject of violence and being killed is not a big deal. And in that moment, I saw the face of racism.
So pretty powerful statement there. I'm wondering where did that come from?
It came from this feeling that I've experienced in my life, but from hearing the stories from so many people who are just fed up. They're just so angry that we can't get a handle on systemic racism, specifically in the police. That, how many more lives will it take? We saw the horrible images of Chief Adam being beat up and the wounds that he sustained over an expired license plate. We saw the Inuk man being doored by RCMP officers. And then we've got examples of Indigenous people being killed. We've got violence at the municipal and provincial police levels. And all this has culminated in a moment kind of across the world where people are saying, well, enough's enough. Like, how many more lives have to be lost before we take action? And we've got a Prime Minister Trudeau, who takes a knee, but he's not willing to take a stand. And there's just all this frustration built up. And I feel that. And I feel the pain that people are going through. And the simple just, why can't we do something about it now? And when we can, we have the power and the ability. So I was in that moment thinking about all the people who don't act to stop systemic racism and how frustrating that is and how painful that is. That was what I was feeling in that moment.
So there's people who may not act to stop it, but are they racist? That's a very strong term to use to describe someone. Is that a word then that you think should be applied, to more people who don't see systemic racism, perhaps don't understand it, Mr. Singh?
Well, I want to be clear on this. I don't think that there's a benefit in calling a whole bunch of people names and pointing out all the people that may be racist, who might be here for a long time. But I just want to get the results. And I think that's what people want. It's not as important to name all the people who are racist. It's actually would be so much more effective if we could just change the laws. And so, yeah, I think inaction in a time when we've got so much systemic racism, inaction on the part of the federal government, frankly, to not change the use of force and the de-escalation policies and making sure we respond with healthcare instead of police officers to people that are dealing with a health crises. A government like the Liberal government that's not acting on this is displaying a callousness towards what people are going through, is displaying a lack of regard. And to me, that is the problem with racism. When racism is not caring about someone else's inherent value and the worth that they have. So it's not caring about them and disregarding their lives and their lived realities and the pain that they go through. Disregarding that is the problem with racism.
And do you intend
I want to get the changes.
Do you intend to go back to the House, and will you face any type of penalty?
I'm prepared to face any penalty. I believe in what I said. And more importantly, I want to continue to fight to see something different. I want to build a brighter future. And I don't want this to be something that we're stuck on. I want us to move forward and start putting in those changes that I know we can put in. I know will make things better.
Have you spoken with MP Hélène Therrien? And if so, what did that conversation, how did it go?
No, we haven't spoken.
Would you like to speak with him privately?
No, I'm not. I'm okay to speak to anybody. My concern is I want to see some systemic change. I don't really care to appease one person's feelings. I want to bring in changes to the police so that I don't see another Indigenous person be brutally beaten. I want to bring in changes to the federal policing so that people who need a wellness check aren't then killed afterwards. I want to see that change. That to me is the most important. And if people are willing to make that change, let's work together and do it.
Jagmeet Singh, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. Of course, Jagmeet is the leader of the NDP. Thank you again for your time on this.
Thank you.